When the installation is done, you'll be presented with a login screen such as this. I'm going to enter my password that I used in setting up the OS. So I'll log in. So there we have the desktop, and this is the Linux Mint OS. Every command, everything that we are going to do will be done in the Linux terminal, in the shell. So I'm going to launch the shell, and then we start with our commands. I've launched the terminal. So this is the terminal or the shell. So you can use them interchangeably. I will make the shell a bit bigger. So you can go to view, and then you use the zoom out. View or zoom in, and then you make it bigger. Okay. I believe this is okay. We are going to start with these commands. So there we are going to start with these commands. First of all, we are going to start with directories. We are going to work on directories, how to work with directories. Directories in Linux is basically folders. If you say folders, the same thing as directories. So what we'll be doing will be the pwd, that's print working directory, and then this is the list command, this is the change directory, make directory, remove directory. Then we'll be looking at some manual pages, what is, and then the where is. So we'll be looking at all these commands as quickly as possible. So let's start with the pwd. Pwd, which means print working directory, means it means your location, where you are currently on the machine. It shows you your location. So if I type pwd and I press my enter key, it is telling me that I am in this location, the home of the user. That's where I am currently. Okay. We are also going to look at the ls command, that's the list command. What the list command does is it tells you, it shows the contents. It shows the contents of your location. Wherever you are, if you type ls, it will give you the contents, what are located in that, what things are available in that location where you find yourself. So in my VirtualBox user home, I have my desktop, I have my documents, I have my downloads, music, pictures, templates, videos. If I click on my home folder here, you will realize that it's the same thing as the information I had when I did the list. This is the graphical user interface, and this is when working in the terminal. Okay. Now the list command, I can do a long list. If I say a long list, and then with an option L, it will give me a long list. So it's the same results, but in this case I have other information that we'll be looking at later as we proceed in the course. We can also do a list and then long list LA. Now the A here means bring every folder that is hidden. Anything that is hidden, I want it to show. So make a long list of everything in the Vimbox user home. Make a list of everything. those files that are visible and those files that are hidden. I want them to appear. So I'll press enter. I'll press enter, and then as you can see, I have, even though it's the same command, but because I added the A, it has given me more information than just using the long list. So the -A will give you hidden objects as well as those that are not hidden. Now there's another option that we can use with the list command. I can type list, and then I do list -L, then I do H. Now the H means I want the things that will appear to be human readable. So here you can see that we have some 4096. These things are the sizes of the files or the folders. So these ones are the sizes. So 4096 is actually 4 kilobytes. 1240 is actually 1.2 kilobyte. But to make it more readable, I can use the LH. ls.lh. If I enter, you can see that almost all the files there are 4 kilobytes in size. Almost all the files are 4 kilobytes in size because we have not created any file, we have not done anything to have bigger files. So these are the human readable will make the files appear either in kilobytes, megabyte or gigabyte depending on the size, and they make it more human readable friendly. Okay, so you can combine all what we have done. I will clear the screen by typing the clear command. So clear will clear the screen. I'm going to do another ls again. This time around I'm going to do ls and then -L, A and H. You can combine all of them. So I have a long list. The long list that I have the long list with the file sizes in human readable form. So that is that for the list and the P and the print working directory. We'll be looking at the make directory soon. So let's clear our screen once again. CLEAR. We clear our screen. Now we are going to look at the CD. So change directory. Change directory actually means move from one place to another. That is what it does. So I'm in one place, I'm in location A, I want to move to location B. What I need to do is to use change directory. So once again, if I do pwd, it tells me that I'm in my home, I'm in my Vimbox users home. If I do an ls, it tells me that I have my desktop, I have documents, I have downloads, etc. I want to move onto my desktop. I want to move from this location, from the home of Vimbox user onto my desktop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type cd, then I will bring desktop. I know there will be an error, but I'm doing it on purpose. If I press enter, it will tell me that there's no such file, there's no such file or directory. This error came because Linux is case sensitive. Small d is not the same as capital D. Small d is not the same as capital D. So we need to correct that error. So you need to have that in mind. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type again. I'm not going to, waste my typing what I did. What I need to do is I just use the arrow keys. If I press the arrow key, it will bring me the last action that I performed. So I press the up arrow key. If you press the down, it will take you up. So the up will take you through all the commands that you have entered. So I press the up arrow key, then I'll move my left arrow key, left arrow key. I get to the D, I delete, and then I type D, capital D. So I enter, and then I am now on my desktop. I am now on my desktop. So I've used the change directory to move from the VBox onto my desktop. That is the change directory. I can also do another change directory and then say that, okay, I want to move back to my previous location. Okay, so I want to move back to my previous location. So what I'm going to do is there are different ways you can move back to your previous locations. The first one I'm going to talk about is CD and then the dash and then the dash. If I press enter, it will take me back to my home VBox user. If I press the up arrow again and then add the C dot dash, I press enter and then it sends me forward to my desktop. So the CD and the dash will just be moving you back and forth through your previous locations, back and forth. But there is this command CD and then dot. When I press CD dot, it will take me back, and if I press CD dot again, it will keep taking me back. It won't send me forward. So that is the difference between the CD dash and the CD dot and the CD dash. The CD dash will just be moving you back and forth. With the CD double period, it will just be sending you back to your previous files. Okay. So if I do my pwd, it tells me that I am in my home directory now. If I do an ls, it will list the users that are there. So I have only one user, and that user is the VBox user. So I'm going to move into my VBox user once again with the CD, then I type v. Now, there is what we call the tab completion or the auto completion. Linux will complete things for you automatically. So if once I've typed the CD and I've typed v, I'll use my tab key, tab key on my keyboard. If I press the tab key, it will complete it for me. Okay, then I'll press enter. So if I do my pwd once again, now I'm back into my VBox user. Okay, once again, there's something that I want to show you concerning the CD. The CD, if I type CD and I do dot /dot, what this means is I'm telling Linux that I want to move back 2 steps. This is the meaning. I want to move back 2 steps. So if I press enter, it will take me to my root directory. Now this is a root directory in Linux. The root directory in Linux is where all the files of Linux are located. Those that the executable and then the bootloaders and everything, that is where they are located, and that is called the root. So the / in Linux is called the root. Okay, so let's continue. So I've moved back to my root file because I used the CD --. Once again, if I type CD and then I do dash dot / dot /. What I'm telling Linux is I want to move back 4 steps. You count the dots. So this 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're telling Linux that I want to move back 4 steps. Okay. So those are things that you can do with the CD. I want to spend some time again with the CD. This time around, we are going to look at how to be in one directory and then change straight into another location. As we can see, I'm in the root directory. If I do an ls, it's going to come up with a lot of folders. Okay, so this is the ls, this is the root. So I'm doing a listing of the root to see the files and the directories that are in the root. Assuming I want to move to my desktop once again, I can do it in one step. Even though I'm in another location, I can just move one step. I don't have to be changing it bit by bit. What I'll do is I'll type CD and then take note that if I type tilde, this sign in Linux means home directory, is the home directory. Okay, so this tilde sign means home directory. So I'll say that, okay, take me back to my desktop. Then I will type DE, then I'll press my tab key to complete it for me. When I press enter, you can see that straight from my root directory, I have now jumped onto my desktop. So this is how you can be moving from places, you can move from different locations to other locations on Linux using the CD. Okay, I can also do another example like CD. I want to move to the folder. There's a folder called the etc folder. I will type CD, then I'll type ET, then I'll press my tab key for auto completion. If I press enter, you can see that straight from my desktop, I've moved into my etc folder. If I do an ls dash, if I do a long list, I'm going to get, these are all the things in my etc folder. All right, so we will still be looking at the CD. We are not finished. We'll come back again. For now, I want to move back to my desktop because I want to, the next tutorial, the next command, we are going to create folders or directories on our desktop. So I'll change directory and then type my tilde / type DE tab, enter. Then I'm back on my desktop. So the desktop looks a bit, it looks a bit untidy. So let me clear it up. I'm going to type CLEAR to clear everything on the screen. Now our next command we are going to look at is the mkdir. Mkdir means make directory. So let's jump into it and make our directory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type mkdir. So mkdir on my desktop. Okay, I'm going to create a folder and name that folder my notes. So just check the desktop. There is no folder on my desktop like notes, but immediately I press enter, you see that the folder has appeared, my notes. I just created it using the terminal. Okay, now I can move into my notes directory by typing CD, then I type my, then I press tab key to complete it for me. CD my notes. So CD my notes, then I press enter. So as you can see, I'm on desktop and I'm in my notes directory. I'm moving back to my desktop. So what do I do? As you guessed, I'm going to type CD and then ... I like using this more than the CD with the dash. So I'll issue this command and I'm back on my desktop. Okay, I'm back on my desktop. So we have created my notes folder. Now, I will mention that there are some manual pages that we'll be looking at. There are some manuals that we'll be looking at. But till then, I'm going to create a folder with subfolders in it in just one step. So what I'll do is I'll type mkdir make directory and then I'll give it an option -p. -p means parent. Create a parent directory. So then I'll leave a space. So what's the name of the first directory? So I'll say that is first. So it's going to create a first directory. Then I'll bring a dash. Then I'll say second dash, and I'll say third. Okay. Let me delete this. Let me remove this P so we can have the meaning of the. So I'm creating directories within directories. That is creating subdirectories. Okay. If I press my enter key, it is going to give me an error. Oh, sorry. So let me type mkdir, mkdir, mkdir. Okay. So it is telling me that mkdir cannot create a directory first step, no such file or directory. And the reason is that it is trying to create this third subdirectory. But in actual fact, it is not able to detect this second folder as well as this first folder. Okay, so the target folder is this third folder, but it is not, Linux is not seeing this folder, this second folder, or the first folder, or this first folder. So to rectify that error, what we are going to do is we'll press the up arrow, recall our command, and then we do -p. So now the -p will tell us that, okay, even if these folders, first and second folders, are not available, make them parent, create them as parent directories before you create this third directory. That's the target. So if I press my enter, you will see that I have the folder created. When I double click on the folder, I will have second. Then when I click on the second, I have my third folder. So the third folder is the last folder. Okay, so we have created this folder. All right, so that is the make directory. There are other options that we can use with the make directory, but we'll be looking at them pretty shortly. The next command we are going to look at is the rmdir. Rmdir simply means remove directory. So once you can make directory, you should be able to remove those directories, and we will use the rmdir to remove those directories. So let's go. I'm going to run this command rmdir. I'm going to run rmdir. I'm going to remove my notes directory. Okay, now you use remove directory when the directories are empty. That is, there's nothing in the directory. When the directory is not empty, it won't work. So let me try and remove first, and let's see what happens. So it is telling me that rmdir failed to remove first because the directory is not empty. Okay, because it is not empty, rmdir will not work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press my up arrow to recall the last command. Then I'm going to remove a directory that has nothing in it. So let's check my notes. My note has nothing. It is empty. It is empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type my notes, remove my notes, and then when I type, it will tell me that what? It is removed. So it has been removed because it is empty. Okay, because it is empty. So we have been able to remove some directories that we created, and we have made some directories. All right, so far we have talked about print working directory that tells us where we are on the Linux box. We have learned about the ls, the listing command. We have learned about the ls. We have done a long list. We have done a list of hidden files, and we have done a list in human readable form. Then we came to change directory. Change directory, we'll be using it frequently. We learned how to change directories, move back, be in one location and change to another location. We have done that. Then we look at make directory, mkdir. We're able to create directories, and then if we want to create subdirectories, we use make directory command with this option -p so that we can create recursive directories. And then we look at how to remove directory using the rmdir. Okay, so those are the commands that we want to look at in this first instance. So now we are going to look at the manual pages and the what is and the where is commands. Okay, so let's continue. What we are going to do is to clear our screen. Now, manual. Man is manual. It's a short form for manual. So let's do man. If we want to find out more information about a particular command, what you do is you type man and then you bring the name of the command like ls. So man ls. When I press enter, it is going to give me a manual that I can read, about the ls command. So first of all, the name is ls, and then the meaning is it lists directory contents. So it lists directory contents, and then this is the synopsis. That is how to use it. So you can use ls with an option. Okay, you can use ls with an option, and then you specify a file which is optional. You can use this as an optional, as an optional statement. And then it tells you, it describes it a bit, lists information about files, blah blah blah. And then the option that is stated, these are the options that you can use. So we have already learned how to use the dash small a. Another option to use the dash big A. Another option to use the dash author, dash B, dash block size, and then specify your size, dash B, and then dash C, small c, then dash capital C. So we have, these are all the options that you can use. We have also looked at the L. We have looked at the long listing. We have looked at the long listing. And then we have looked at the human readable. As you can see, we have looked at the human readable form. So in your spare time, you can just go on and then read some of these manual. Now, after you have read the manual and you want to exit out of the manual, out of reading the manual, you press your Q, the Q letter on the keyboard, and it will quit out of the manual pages. Okay, so you can also do man. You can also do man mkdir. Sorry, man mkdir. When you press enter, it is going to give you the manual about your, how to use mkdir. Okay, so we have done parents. You can also look at the verbose. You can also look at the verbose and then other options. We quit out with the Q key. Then another command we are going to look at is the whereas. So we look at we'll look at the what is. Now, what is, just as the name sounds, is what is this? What is something? I want to know what it is. So when I type what is ls. Okay, so what is ls? It tells me that what? It lists directory contents. As simple as that. That is what it does, and that is what it has just given me. When I type what is mkdir, it tells me that what? It makes directories, or it creates a directory. What is rmdir? It tells me that what? Removes an empty directory or deletes a directory. Alright, so that is that. And then the next one is where is. The next one is where is. The next one is where is. Where is. So if I type where is mkdir, where is actually means I want to know the location of the manual, of the mkdir manual. I want to know the location of whatever command you specify. I want to know its location, its manual location on the Linux machine. So when I type this, it tells me that, okay, mkdir is actually located in 3 places. The manual is located in 3 places. The mkdir itself is located, this is the executable, okay, and then these ones are the manuals. Okay, so this one and then this other one. So these are the manual locations, but this is actually where the mkdir executes. So this is the executable. but this one just shows the manual. Okay, this one shows the manual. So just likewise, if I do where is RMDIR, okay, it's also showing me where the manual of the RMDIR is located. So I guess we have talked about these commands as we started the pwd, which shows your location on the Linux machine, and then the ls that lists the contents of your directory, and then cd, that's change directory, that helps you to move from one location to another on the Linux box, and then the mkdir, that helps you to create directories or make folders. RMDIR, it helps you to remove empty, make sure empty, not directory with contents, but empty directories. And then we have looked at the manual pages and the what is command and the where is command. So we will end here and then we'll continue later.